Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to introduce our second major project 2, which is a rhetorical analysis essay. In this video, I really just want to review the goals, the purpose, the tasks, and the grading criteria. So I'm essentially going to walk us through the project overview. Do make sure that after you watch this video, you read this document thoroughly. I'm not going to read it word for word to you. So let's talk a little bit first about the goals and purpose of our second major project. So you'll remember in Major Project 1, you investigated a discourse community through extensive research. And remember that all of our major projects are building on each other in this class, right? So now you've done all your investigating, you're knowledgeable about this field and this discourse community that you've chosen. Now we want to do, in Major Project 2, we're going to practice some analysis, and we're going to analyze the discourse of the community that you've chosen by conducting a rhetorical analysis on 2 artifacts from your discourse community. You probably have done some form of analysis or analytical writing in previous classes. We do a lot of literary analysis in English. Rhetorical analysis is similar to literary analysis, but there are some major and important differences. In literary analysis, we're usually looking at the content of the piece, but rhetorical analysis asks us to look at the context of the piece, to draw conclusions, and to make important observations. And we use these 2 new key terms that we're working with, the rhetorical situation and genres, as tools in rhetorical analysis. So that's what we're going to be doing in this project, is conducting a rhetorical analysis of some field artifacts. By completing this essay, you all will have an opportunity to both practice writing an academic analysis essay, which is an important genre of academic writing, and you're going to apply your growing knowledge of rhetorical situation and genre to this particular, in this particular project. Now, let's talk a little bit about the tasks, how we're going to accomplish this. The very first thing that you're going to do is identify a pressing issue in your field of study. Many of you in Project 1 were already starting to see some of these things evolve. You were starting to identify potential issues or concerns within your field that your field might be responding to, or that you think that you could potentially take a position on. That's awesome. We're going to start working in that direction with this project. There are so many different things that you might look at as potential areas of issue or concern in your discourse community or your field of study. You could look at the lack of communication within your field between the outside world, or even amongst professionals in your field. How are they communicating? Is there a lapse in communication? You might look at a common challenge or issue that students and professionals in your major or your fields face every day. You may look at some unethical or problematic hiring practices, or just general practices in your discourse community. All of these things could be potential issues or concerns that you could choose to focus on for this project. The best thing to do is to start by asking yourself, what concern or issue is my discourse community responding to or dealing with right now? Once you've identified that issue, you're then going to identify 2 artifacts that are responding to that issue. So these are 2 artifacts that have been created by someone in your discourse community that are responding to the issue that you've identified. You'll have a text-based artifact, which is just an artifact that's designed to be read. It could be a scholarly article, a professional publication, a newspaper article, anything written. And then you're going to have a non-text-based article or artifact. And these artifacts, these non-text-based artifacts, are designed to be viewed or listened to. So it could be an image, a poster, a video, and a podcast. In other words, we engage with these non-text-based artifacts in a way other than reading. That's the key and important difference. Your third task is going to ask you to complete a project proposal that essentially tells me where you're at with choosing your concern or issue and the artifacts that you've chosen. For number 4, our fourth task, is going to ask us to complete a preparatory assignment called the Rhetorical Situation Report. This sounds really intimidating. It's actually a really fun mapping or matrix activity that you'll complete, which will just give you an opportunity to rhetorically analyze the artifacts that you've chosen. This task is designed to help to get you thinking about the rhetorical situation of your artifacts and to begin that analysis. Then you're going to write the rhetorical analysis essay. You're going to analyze the 2 artifacts, paying particular attention to the rhetorical strategies that each employs and how it might impact their effectiveness. I've included a section here about how to approach your analysis, and I will include some more resources later on about analysis essays, that genre in particular, and how to go about structuring your essay. But the most important thing is to consider this almost like a comparison and a contrast essay. You're going to compare and contrast how these 2 separate artifacts address the same issue and to what degree they're effective. How is it different? How is it similar? And how does that impact their effectiveness? And then finally, you're going to reflect on what you learned in your individual reflection. That's task number 6. So that's how we're going to attack this project together. I do briefly want to go over the criteria and the timeline for this project. This is an analytical academic essay. So that means that we're using the genre of academic analysis. And so you will use the formatting and documentation style of your field very similarly to the way that you did for Major Project 1. You'll include any in-text citations in a works cited page as needed. You're also encouraged to incorporate images and excerpts of your 2 artifacts as needed for this project. MP2 does make up 20% of your final grade. The same way that we did with Major Project 1, I will incorporate specific evaluation criteria, including rubrics and point breakdowns for each portion of the project in Canvas. I will put those there so you have access to those. Do pay attention to this timeline. This project moves even faster than Major Project 1. We do less research. There's less steps towards this project, and the essay itself is shorter. It's 1,000 words. So that's good. It is less. It's technically less words. It's a shorter process, but it does move a lot faster. So be mindful of that as you are preparing. Well, that's our brief intro to Major Project 2, our rhetorical analysis essay. Remember to review the project overview carefully and check out the submission portals for the Major Project 2 tasks in Canvas for more detailed instructions on individual assignments like the project proposal and the rhetorical situation map. Let's start analyzing.